Me and my silly bow. Okay, so since I have an audience, I'm going to start blithering away. I'm Nancy Herkness. This is Writer Unedited number 20. It's just me sitting at my writing desk talking to you, unscripted and unedited. And I do this every Wednesday. And what was else? Oh, and if you miss me on Facebook, you can find me on YouTube because I post it on YouTube later after I'm done. So Rebecca says she's had some flurries today. Oh, so you guys are already getting the snow. PJ's here. Yay, PJ, so great to see you. So here I am looking very festive. I have on my silly Merry Christmas bow. I have on Christmas tree earrings. Can you see my Christmas tree earrings? And I have on a Christmas shirt in honor of my kitties. Life is good, right? Oh, and behind me is the Royal Caleva Christmas tree with crowns all over it. I just made that for fun. Keeps me entertained. So last night, my critique group met here at my house, and that's us. Obviously me. In the middle is Lisa Verge-Higgins. On the right is Miriam Allenson, and on the screen is Jennifer Wilk. Jennifer is on the screen because she had some secondary exposure to COVID, and so she didn't want to risk infecting us, which was very kind of her. But we Zoomed her in, so she got to see all the decorations and talk to everybody and have all the fun, although we missed her. So I thought, people have asked me a lot about critique groups, and I thought I would talk about mine a little bit now. But I want to check some comments again, because there's somebody else here. Please write a comment if you're here watching, because otherwise I don't know who you are, and I like knowing who I'm talking to. So, okay, back to critique groups. So my critique group, which is 4 people, obviously, as you can see in the picture, I've been a member for well over a decade, and most everybody else, so Lisa Verge-Higgins was the original member when I joined. We had 2 other different members then. They dropped out for various reasons, but the current group with Lisa, Miriam, Jen, and me has been very stable for, I'd say, 10 years probably, which is great because we've gotten to sort of know each other that way. And of course, we help each other with more than just editing because we're all working professional authors. So we talk about, we share professional information, we discuss our careers and what directions they should be taking and how we might do things differently, and we share triumphs, which unfortunately are not so frequent in this business, and we also obviously commiserate on issues, problems, bad things that happen, which unfortunately there are more of, but it's a great group. Excuse me. And through all of this, we've become really good friends too, which is wonderful. You need friends in business. You need friends in life, of course. So people often ask me how it works. So I just want to say all critique groups are different, but we've developed a methodology that works really well for us. So we meet once a month. About a week before, at least a week before that, we send 20 pages of our work in progress to everybody in the group. And then we each work through everybody else's 20 pages. So I'm doing 60 pages of editing in a week, which is a lot. It takes many hours because we take it very seriously. And we do both big picture issues like plot arc and character development and I don't know, all that stuff. And we do little issues. We do copy edits. It depends on, you know, how far along the person is in the editing of what they're sending us. Sometimes it's not worth doing the copy edits because it's a pretty rough draft, but generally it's fairly polished. So we'll do copy edits, and it takes multiple hours to do this because, as I said, we take it very seriously. My personal methodology is I will read the 20 pages through from, you know, my partners, and then let it sit for a day, and then I sit down and work through it page by page, sometimes line by line, and our rule is you have to mention the positive just as much as the negative. I mean, obviously it's a critique, so you are talking about the problems in the book, but I firmly believe, and we all believe as a group, that it's just important to know what the strengths are. That way, when you're editing, you don't edit out the good stuff and inadvertently just deal with the bad stuff. So, so positives as well as negatives. And then as far as sort of the logistics, we rotate between each other's houses. So we'll meet, like last night was at my house. We meet at 5. The first hour is spent critiquing the hostess's work. She's on the hot seat first, so they did my pages first. Then we have dinner, and generally during dinner we talk about the professional stuff. I mean, yes, we share personal stuff, of course, but a lot of it is professional, sharing, you know, what we've learned at conferences, what we've learned from, I don't know, videos or courses that we've taken, just anything in the news about writing that we think people might be interested in. So then we critique everybody else, all the rest of the 3 people. And then we have dessert. That's our reward, because this is generally a marathon session. I mean, it's 4 to 5 hours that we spend doing this. We do not brainstorm, which a lot of other groups do. And the reason we don't is because we want to come to the pages fresh with no idea of what's going to happen next in the book. We want to read the pages like a reader. So we don't know what the plans for the rest of the book are. And for that reason, we don't re-critique pages generally, because at that point you know too much, right? So you don't have the fresh eyes, the fresh perspective. And I love hearing what my critique partners have to say. That the chapters they've worked over always require the least amount of editing. Once I send them to my paid professional editor and get them back, those pages generally require much less work than the ones that my critique group has not seen. And they also, that way they catch problems. Any significant problems get caught pretty early on, so I haven't already written them into the rest of the book. You know, they haven't rippled through the rest of the book, so it's a very useful thing, particularly at the beginning. And of course, the big problem is when you're only doing 20 pages once a month, I've handed in my book to my editor long before my critique group can work through the entire book, which is a bummer because they're good. And I think the only book they actually went through start to finish was How to Plan a Royal Wedding, because that was a very short novella. So I actually had enough time to let them critique the entire novella. And I have to say, as I said, other critique groups do this differently. Works for us because we're all very serious career authors. We take the work seriously. We spend a lot of hours critiquing each other's work. And we welcome the critiques because we know it will make it better. I'm always amazed. I'll talk to writers groups and they'll say, how can you stand having your work criticized? I mean, doesn't that really bother you? And I'm like, no, I consider it a great perk because I'm way too close to my own work to see the flaws. I don't have time to like put it away for 3 months and then come back to it. So having a good critique partner is really, she's worth her weight in gold. All 3 of them, in fact, are worth their weight in gold because they can look at the book with unbiased eyes, fresh eyes. So I need them. And it's actually, it makes it less stressful to send a book out into the world when my critique partners have been through at least, you know, the early parts of it, because, and that's true of the editor, obviously, my editor too, but editors are one person and a critique group is multiple points of view, which is, I think, handy in a different way too. It's a different approach. So I feel like enough eyes have been on the book before I actually publish it that my readers are not going to find major problems. And that helps me as an author not be totally stressed when I publish a book. I think readers often don't understand how stressful it is to send your work out into the world for just everybody to look at, right? You're bearing your soul, basically. And of course, with reviews on Amazon, people can say anything they want to about your books. So this gives me a level of comfort about doing that, about exposing my work to the world. So I love my critique group. Here they are again, just to see it. That's me, Lisa in the middle, Lisa Verge Higgins, Miriam Allenson, over here, and Jen Welk on the screen, because Poor Jen. She was exposed to COVID. She's not sick. She's testing negative. That's the good news. So, okay, I'll stop blithering on about critique groups and read some notes here. So, Kara says that bow contrasts with your serious educational tone. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so serious and educational, but I feel very strongly about critique groups and about mine anyway, and how terrific it is. And Cindy says, hello. Hi, Cindy. Hope Elena's there too. Hi, Elena. So good to see everybody. I love it. I really appreciate your taking time out of your crazy busy holiday season to drop in and chat with me. Okay, Luis word count report. I'm at 79,320 words, as you can see, based on last week's report, which I think was at 78,000. I haven't made a lot of progress. Why? Well, because it's the holiday season, and my social schedule has picked up dramatically due to that, which is great and fun. And then there are also other things like decorating and wrapping and shipping gifts and, oh gosh, what, Christmas cards, you name it. You guys know. You know what the holidays are like. Food, all that kind of stuff. Also, to be fair, I'm at the hard scenes because this is the last quarter of the book. It's very emotional, very high drama, and those are the hardest scenes to write. I have to think about them a lot. I have to, put myself in the shoes of the characters. And then I have to find, once I sort of decide what they're feeling, I have to find a vivid, non-cliched way to convey those emotions so that you as a reader get to feel those emotions. And then, and it's just not so easy. Let's face it. It's the hard part. It takes time. Let's see, another note. PJ says, thank you for giving me a break from writing Christmas cards. My fingers appreciate it. PJ, you're so welcome. I know, I still have to get to the Christmas cards. I haven't quite made it there yet, but so I'll do it. And my Weight Watchers report is not awful, amazingly enough. I was down 8 pounds before Thanksgiving. I'm now only down 7. Thanksgiving, I went up 2, so I've managed to lose 1 more since then. But I consider this miraculous because you should see the amount of Christmas goodies that have come into my home filled with sugar and are utterly delicious. But I'm, fighting the good fight and eating as few of them as possible, which I should eat even less, but they taste good, let's face it. Finally, I will not be able to do the live next week at 2 because I have my book club, and the hostess of the book club puts on this gorgeous luncheon for all of us, this gorgeous spread for all of us. So I'm definitely not missing that. Gorgeous, food, delicious desserts, and everybody's very festive, and her table always looks gorgeous, and then we talk about books. How can that be bad? So I thought, just as an experiment next week, I would try doing a live in the evening. And I'm hoping you guys might consider coming in. I don't know, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. I'm going to put up a little poll on Facebook after this and see what people think about what time would work. Because I don't want to miss seeing you guys. And I also thought I'd try and do it in front of my Christmas tree, because if it's in the evening, the Christmas tree lights will show up better, right? So I'll try, if I can get my tech to work, I will sit in front of the Christmas tree and chat next week. So PJ says, well done. Thank you, PJ. I know, I'm actually pretty proud of myself for that. I'm afraid it's going to get worse before it gets better, though, on the Weight Watchers. But I'm trying. I froze some of the goodies to keep them out of my mouth. Not only that, I froze them in the basement refrigerator. So if I really want them, I have to truck down there, then wait for them to thaw. So that's hopefully going to keep me out of the cookie jar a little bit. So that's all I got to say. Does anybody have questions, comments, anything? I'll just put one more comment in to see if anybody else has come through. No? No one? Well, thank you all so much for being with me, and I hope you have a wonderful week of holidays celebration before I see you next week. Hopefully see you next week. And don't eat too many Christmas cookies, unlike me. And I'll see you soon. Thanks again for joining me. Bye.